Business Hour on OFM.
You're tuned into OFM Business Hour, powered by Standard Bank Business Banking. I'm your host, Olebogeng. On 26 March 2020, the South African Minister of Home Affairs announced a few visa concessions which now apply to foreigners living within South Africa's borders. To find out more about some of the important points that the minister mentioned and why these are so important now that they're being implemented, we are talking to Zahida Ebrahim. She's the Director of Immigration and Dispute Resolution at ENS Africa. Zahida, for foreigners that were inside South Africa during the period of the national state of disaster or before, that date and hold a valid visa, what does the recent announcement by the minister mean for these individuals, and what is that announcement specifically?
Well, the directions which the Minister of Home Affairs issued on the 26th of March pursuant to the Disaster Management Act are geared towards providing some relief for foreigners who have been unable to travel due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Visas such as tourist and business visas, in fact any visas which were issued for a period of 90 days or less, will automatically benefit from an extension until 30 June 2021. Other visa categories also enjoy such extensions. If one looks at the asylum seeker permit and refugee statuses, any of those statuses which have expired since the 15th of March last year, or which were supposed to have been withdrawn during the period of the national state of disaster, are deemed to have been automatically extended to 30 June 2021. And similarly, the Lesotho special permits have also been extended up to 30 June.
Does this extension apply to visas issued for more than 90 days or up to 3 years, such as student study visas or student visas?
So, although the directions state that the extension of the validity of visas does not apply to visas issued for more than 90 days up to 3 years, such as the study visa and certain categories of work visas, the holders of such visas are allowed to apply for new visas on or before 31 July. The implication of this is that such longer-term visas are automatically extended to the state, and it certainly seems that that is how the Department of Home Affairs is interpreting this and applying it in practice.
I'm speaking to Zahida Ebrahim. She's the Director of Immigration and Dispute Resolution at ENS Africa. What are some of the other important announcements that have been made by the minister thus far? Just to elaborate, I guess, on the visa concessions perhaps and any other developments.
Sure, there's been a number of visa concessions, as you can imagine, since mid-March last year. At the moment, probably the most significant further announcement that was made in the recent concessions is that a person who has a visa which expired from the 15th of March 2020, that even has remained in South Africa during the period of the national state of disaster, will not be declared undesirable if they leave South Africa during the period of the national state of disaster up to and including 30 June 2021. Some of the other concessions are also geared ensuring that people can comfortably bring the necessary visa applications for extensions now that the VFS offices and departmental offices are operating more robustly, shall we say, than was the case during the hard lockdown. Some of these concessions is that no Form 20 authorization is required when submitting a visa renewal application after the visa's expiry date, because ordinarily one must show good cause as to why you qualify to file a late application. And then also the holder of a visitor's visa must adhere to the terms and conditions of their visa, and any new activity or any activity that is not endorsed into the visa remains prohibited. So, for example, even though these concessions, extend the validity period of the visa, you can't assume new employment if your visa is issued for work at a specific employer. And then one of the things that is not specifically included in the minister's announcement, but which has been quite significant, is that there was a directive issued by the Department of Home Affairs late last year, which allows the holder of intercompany transfer visas that expired during the lockdown and up until the 31st of June this year to apply for a further 2-year extension of their visa, which they would not ordinarily have qualified for.
Zahida, what does the backlogs at Home Affairs look like with regards to these visas?
I think it depends on the category 5-year visa, the concessions have obviously done away with the need for people on shorter term visas largely to make new applications, but we are already seeing that visa processing is taking significantly longer even in those categories. So we definitely expect to see a backlog, and more significantly, the permanent residence section of the Department of Home Affairs is still not operational. So we expect that when they resume operations, they're likely to become flooded with applications and are also likely to be backlogged.
That was my conversation with Zahida Ebrahim. She's the Director of Immigration and Dispute Resolution at ENS Africa. We were talking about a few of the visa concessions which now apply to foreigners living within South Africa's borders, but was spoken of as early as last year. If you missed this conversation, you can go to ofm.co.za, click on read, and then on business.
The Business Hour on OFM.